Hi, Source Beings. So I had some revelations today. Okay, this is gonna be a simple video. You can use it as an affirmation, but it's more than an affirmation. It's actually, like, in my eyes, it's the spiritual truth. So I'm gonna make it simple. The grace, the free grace, which means unconditional love that comes from God, that you cannot earn, makes you an innocent being. And then that builds trust. And then we have truth, which creates clarity, which creates peace. And I think once you have peace, then you can have joy. And I think when you have joy, real joy, you become like a radiant light in the world, or a tree of life. And then, so I think there's some scripture about Jesus saying, like, when we worship the Father or God, we must worship in spirit and in truth. And I think when they mean by spirit, or when Jesus was saying in spirit, he meant unconditional love, because that would be the Spirit of God. So I think they both kind of go hand in hand. You need unconditional love, and you need truth. You can't really have one without the other, and they need each other. If you only have unconditional love without truth, then you're just blind. If you have truth without unconditional love, then you're also blind in another way, if that makes any sense. So I would compare it like to the opposite of the spectrum, which would be like, let's see, what shame would bring guilt, which would bring what's the opposite of trust? Like suspicion? Yeah, that's the word. Suspicion. Which means then it would go into lies, which would create confusion, which would create chaos internally. And then that would create misery. Okay? So basically, I think the root cause, quite literally, of our pain is our shame. And when what we must do is we must realize that our heart is always going to be pure, because our heart is where God lives. Now, our mind, or our brain, that's a different story. And the more we integrate our brain with our heart, the more our brain will be purified and cleansed, because our heart is the holy temple of God. So basically, a good story actually with Adam and Eve. What's the first thing they did when they felt shame? They tried to run away from it. They tried to hide themselves with fig leaves, right? Because they felt guilty. They felt suspicious of each other. They felt like they had to hide from each other. Think about it. Like, really think about it. And then what happens when you're suspicious, or when you feel suspicious? It seems like everybody around you is, like, not out to get you, but like they're suspicious because they're feeding off of your energy. And if you feel, what would be the opposite of suspicion? Like a trustworthy person, then there's no reason for anybody to be suspicious of you. It's kind of like basically it's how to get out of that mindset that basically people will try to shame you, or even if you feel shame yourself, instead of running away from it and hiding yourself with fig leaves, metaphorically, you need to actually just anchor yourself into it and feel it, understand it. Try to don't run away from your shame. heal it with the grace of God that speaks in your heart. Or actually, you'll feel the grace of God in your heart, and that would be considered like, I guess, forgiveness in a way. And that's part of it. Compassion, acceptance, all those kind of good things, you know what I mean? And then truth is a whole nother story, but truth is truth, you know? So, you know, truth is like God just telling you the truth, so you're clear-minded. And then grace would be like, you don't need to earn love. You're already loved by the most highest powerful being in the universe. So why are you trying to go around people pleasing? And I think we got to put our heart first. We got to put God first. And our heart is pure. And the biggest lie that we've been told is that our heart is not pure. Our heart is pure. It's our brains that aren't. And the more we listen to our heart, the more basically we get better. Like, it'll become easier to listen to our heart, and the better relationship we'll have with God, with truth and grace. And I think just naturally our lives will get better. At least I hope so. And even if it, like, you have to be patient. Like, sometimes things aren't going to happen all the time when you necessarily want them to. But we must, even through doubt, through persecution, through tribulation, through feeling needy or feeling scared in life, we should always remember that there's a place we can go. There's a place we can call home. And it's called your heart. It's God, basically. It's where grace and truth live. And if you want, think of your heart like a fountain, an everlasting fountain of grace and truth. And you can always drink from that water, and that water will not go anywhere ever, and it will not be disappear. Now, you could put a cap over that water, or not a cap, but you can try to hold that water back. That's your free will, and there's a lot of people that don't listen to their hearts. But yeah, put your heart first, and put the universe second. And the universe is us, or what we identify as our ego, as our dualistic nature, so to speak. But our heart is God, and our brain is the universe. And our world is the universe. That's the best way I can explain it. Alright, guys, girls, I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching, if you are watching, and I hope that you understand what I say. Okay, thank you.